All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to our CannaBuzz live stream. We are live here right now on CannaBuzz with Scotty Real. He's over to right here on the screen. We've got JR Token. We're super
What's up?
stoked to have everyone. Thanks for everyone that's joining us live right now on CannaBuzz. I'll be watching the live chat and shout people out. So thanks everyone who joined us right on time. Before we get too far in it, I want to thank all of our subscribers, our CannaBuzz Premium and Associate Producers. I'm going to throw their names up on the screen right now. You can see them on the live stream. Thanks to all these people for supporting us every month. You really make this all possible, so thank you so much. If you're not a subscriber already, please check out our CannaBuzz Premium or Associate Producer memberships. Our Premium membership you can get right now for $4.20 a month. And we hope you check that out. The coupon code is down below. But all right, Scotty. Well, we are joined today by Scotty Real from the Dude Grows Show. If you are someone who's watched the Dude Grows Show, you probably recognize the background behind him. He's on the Dude Grows set right now, which is pretty cool.
AKA the pole barn in my backyard. Sir.
Yeah, the bakery, as you call it. Yeah. So how you doing, Scotty? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me. I'm doing great. It's man, getting we had our DGC Cup a couple weeks ago and just was actually able to see everybody. So I actually know what's going on with you, JR. We got to hang out and smoke joints, and bro, I brought nice guy Kenny is here. My brother Trip took us to the airport yesterday, and the first thing once we got, like, I don't know, I think we got a quarter mile away, but busted out the jar of cherry Paloma you left. You left us one big fat.
Oh, yeah.
Paloma. And I swear to God, dude, Kenny was like, oh, I get a finish of cherries from it. And I was like, you're so full of shit. But he swears, man. He swears.
Good times.
And by the way, and then today he's like, yeah, let's smoke. Where's that cherry Paloma? And I'm like, hey, dude, that was like, that was a special occasion. Welcome to Colorado. Go grab the fucking bucket, man.
That's awesome.
Good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Good stuff, y'all.
So before we get into it, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about just your grow history and how you've been able to kind of elevate yourself from just a local grower to someone who is now more on a national scene.
Wow, bro, that's such a fun question, man, because I've had a couple things in my personal life recently, and it reminded me of girls, and like reminded me of my first girlfriend. And this has nothing to do with my lady. My lady is super stable and everything's good there. But I was talking about how, like, one time I had this little closet going. It was like 1994. And I had a closet going with two 1,000 watt lights. And I had a girlfriend at the time, and I promised her, and it was illegal as fuck. So she was like, what the fuck? It's like, I promise you, it's going to change our lives. This is going to change our lives. And it never did. It was just a little closet. And one day she came up and she goes, I'm out of here, man. She's like, just this ain't going nowhere. I'm out of here. And when she did, I told Mike that, you know, he knew what was going on. And he goes, we're coming, I'm bringing the electrician and we're coming over, man. And he said, come on, you need a change, brother. You need to snap out of this. And we put 20 lights in my brother's Trip's house. And I became a professional grower. And just kind of like that, I more or less joined a crew of people that were all hanging out, and just all like-minded people. It was pre-internet community, so it was like my little personal DGC circle, and I learned a bunch from them, and we just kind of we did it, man. We stepped up.
So what style of growing did you start with? Were you like a deep water culture? Were you soil?
Dude, he's fucking good, man. JR is good. He knows how to get right to the... Dude, I didn't even know weed was a plant, that cannabis was a plant. And I'm exaggerating that a little bit, but I was like, dude, how do I fucking grow this stuff? You know, what kind of laboratory equipment do I need to grow this stuff? And sure, I went with inert rock wool slab systems were all the rage back in the day. They were like made out of PVC pipe, and it had some trays in there, and you put the rock wool slabs in. And you just, all I knew was, yeah, you take these things and you treat them with chemicals, man, and you put chemicals on there and they grow. And I don't know, there's these 3 bottles of chemicals and you mix them together. It was so far away from being a plant, man. It was like a business system or something. It's just so crazy knowing what I know now about the plant being alive, the soil being alive, them giving a shit whether you hang out or not. Yeah, it was just such a departure from that, man. That's why I rail against deep water culture so much, man, because it's such a departure from what the plants are actually evolved to do. You know, it's like treating plants not like plants, you know.
Scotty, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you when I was thinking about our interview, and I was thinking about you, and one of the things that I admire most about you is how active and busy you are and how you're involved in so many things. If for those viewers that aren't too familiar with Scotty, Scotty has a lot of different projects or plates that he's spinning at one time. He's got Real Growers Recharge. They recently introduced a new product, GrowDots. He's also got a bamboo nursery. He's also got the Dude Grow Show, which is kicking out videos like practically every day. So you're a busy dude. How do you keep yourself motivated and just tackling all this shit? Because you've just got so much going on. And, you know, for some of us, it's like a struggle just to get out of bed and do something that day. But you just seem to always be on it.
Man, thanks, Q. I appreciate it, brother. I respect you, and coming from you, that means a lot, man. I got fucking awesome people that I surround myself with. I've been lucky enough. I really try to be kind to people. I really do want everyone to win that's around me. And that's brought really great people into my lives that I can trust. I've been to the bamboo farm in 6 or 7 months because I've got badass people there that I completely trust. Somebody hands them $1,000 cash for some bamboo, and they go, Scott, what do you want me to do with this, you know, with this money? Like, where the fuck are you going to find people you don't visit for six? You know, I got great people. Kenny over here, nice guy. Kenny's hanging out. He's going to help me with some stuff with Real Growers. But all the people that I have, I can really trust them, and they're capable, and they take the pain away from me. You know, when I can't answer the phone for bamboo, which I'm too busy to do, Kenny does it, and I make sure he does a great job he makes sure he does a great job for me. Banner, and like me and Banner developed the Dude Grow. You know, the Dude Grow Show is the one thing that's fucking just fun, man. Like a lot of, you know, Recharge. I'm like, all right, let me figure out how many open invoices there are for this customer. Yeah, they're a great customer. I love them. I like making money, but that's not fun.
Right.
But figuring out, yeah, like, dude, let's talk about the fucking easiest way to grow, or the best grow system, or how cool it is that prohibition's falling down. That shit's easy. I can come up with that stuff all the time, you know?
Nice.
And just curious, how did you make a transition from cannabis to bamboo?
First off, I was trying to fucking disguise my cannabis. I had like 60 or 80 lights going around, and I was trying to figure out, like, you know, actually, my brother Trip used to take, fuck it. My brother Trip used to take like 20, 30 pounds, like 25, 30 pounds of cannabis. And he was cool, man. He would take it, put it in double garbage bags, double contractor bags, and then fucking take and put like a yard of soil on top of it. Just dump a yard of soil with the tractor on top of it, and you can drive anywhere. Nobody's gonna fucking probe your soil, man. You know. I don't even remember the question though.
And so that was your way of getting into bamboo?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I danced with a gay guy a couple months before my wedding, and that's how I got into bamboo. No,
whatever floats your boat.
Right?
No, I'm serious. I'm actually serious, and I love Scott, my dance angel. Okay, but you know, you get married, and my wife wanted me to take dance lessons for our first dance, and I had already had the bamboo nursery, and I wasn't doing that great with it. No, I'm sorry. I already had the nursery, but I was doing palm trees, and palm trees are a fucking art. Bamboo's easy as shit. You can grow grass, you can grow bamboo. Palms, if you screw up watering for 1 week, the sprinklers go off, they get a hump in it, and you're like, dude, this tree just went from $10,000 to $150, and they take 10 years to grow. But
Wow.
I drive by in Florida, these big fields of palm trees, and I'd be like, holy shit. And then when I first got my house, I called up, I was like, how much is a palm tree? They were like, that one is $7,000. I was like, well, what if I grow 1,000 of them, man? You know, I'll be a millionaire. And that's how I bought a piece of swampland. But I was growing palm trees, and I wasn't really feeling. I was like, oh, this is gonna go like shit. I'm gonna be another one of those farmers that's out of business. And then I was getting married. I took these dance lessons, and it's amazing. It was crazy. I was surprised. But the guy that taught me how to dance happened to be gay, and he was super cool guy. Got along with him great. Taught me how to dance great. But me and this guy are dancing one day, and he goes to me, so what do you do? And I'm not going to tell him I grow weed. So I go, oh, I have a palm tree farm. And he goes, oh, honey, palms are dated. You need to go to bamboo. Okay, that's the next new trendy thing. And he did talk like that. And he was right, man. He was so fucking right. I called a bamboo dealer the next day. There was 3 in the state. And I go it was $80 for a 3-gallon bamboo back then, because nobody had them. It was a complete ripoff. 3 people had them. They're super specialty. And so I brought those, whatever. I learned how to do it. Kenny helped me for a bunch of it. And we brought them to where we sell like $20, $25 bamboo now, get thousands and thousands of them to everybody. And yeah, that's how I got into growing bamboo.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's kind of make that transition from the farm and feeding into GrowDots. How did you first come across the idea for GrowDots, and how did it apply to your nursery at the time?
You know what it is, at my nursery, I get talent because I buy so much. We have 20 acres of bamboo. And I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of plants on there in all different stages. So we kind of get talented people coming to us saying, hey, we'd like to, build you a custom fertilizer, or we'd like to explain this technology to you. And in fertilizer, man, there is real technology out there. There's guarded secrets and patents and all this stuff, and brand name stuff. It's a big deal. So I learned that the best fertilizer you can buy is a slow release, just a really high quality. They call them polymer coated slow releases. And they're giving a consistent release of the right nutrients at the right time. For bamboo, it's really easy because they always like nitrogen. But that was the big deal, a consistent release, putting the right amount on there and getting a consistent release. And kind of funny thing is, when I first was designing my bamboo nursery, I go, well, where am I going to put my tanks? I was talking to one of the guys that was helping me clear the land. I go, where am I going to put my tanks? He's like, tanks for what? I'm like, for nutrient. And I thought I was going to have 3 giant tanks of fucking grow, micro, and bloom when I first started. But no, you don't do that. And that's what the guy said to me. He goes, no, the liquid's the dessert. Your granulars, your food, but your liquid's your dessert. And that's how the pros treat it. And for a long time, I thought that'd be really great if I could do that. It actually it took me a while to actually think that that was a reality. But I talked to a really smart guy, a formulator that I know, and I told him the problem I had with that. Cannabis is a problem because it needs high nitrogen in the beginning, and then that nitrogen needs to taper out towards the end, and it needs to keep a heavy P and K throughout. And the guy was like, thought about it for a while, and then he goes, man, you just need to blend 2 different formulas together. 2 completely different fertilizers, one that has a really thin polymer coating on there, so it lets the nitrogen out almost immediately. And then another with a really thicker coating on there that has nitrogen, but a little bit of nitrogen and a lot of phosphorus and potassium. So by taking those different fertilizers, each with different thicknesses, different coatings, thickness, we're able to stagger the release of some P and K. And so it just worked out awesome. It was really cool. And then with we're able to even things like CalMag. I was like, can we put more CalMag in? He's like, sure. You know what I mean? It's fucking, dude, the guy's, first time I met this guy, he's a formulator, and they come out to the nursery trying to get our business, because there's a lot of fertilizer out, a lot of money to be made. And this guy comes out and I think he's going to be a redneck. He is a redneck, you know, with the dip in and everything like that. But he takes his computer out and he starts sourcing ingredients for me from around the country, being like, "No, if we get this from here, it'll be 30 cents cheap or whatever." And I was like, this guy's brilliant, man. And you can't judge a book by its cover. Dude, this guy was fucking brilliant. He's sitting out there in a big empty field, just fucking sourcing and building a really complicated fertilizer, man. So, and then by the way, I turned my head, my redneck neighbor comes over and he goes, "Hey, look what I got." And it was him and his 7-year-old daughter on an ATV with probably like a 5-foot alligator. And he's just like, "Yo." And I was like, dude, I'm trying to make an impression here, man. Come on. That's the truth.
So what was the like time span or whatever you want to call it from like, you know, starting this idea to, you know, GrowDots coming out? What, they came out like last year at some point,
Yeah.
right?
It's been about 3 years. I had to play with them in the beginning. I just had to play with it, you know, we just prove that it would work. And dude, I'm only one, you know, I don't have a bunch of testers or anything like that. So it takes me, I got to go through harvest. We were just in there looking at, I'm doing a 5-week veg this time, and I'm always experimenting, trying to do different lengths of veggies or whatever. But in the first incarnation I did, you know, the veg was too short. Then it didn't have enough CalMag. So I kind of just played with this. By the third incarnation, the third try, I put it out there. Remember, we had Mondo. I put it out there as a tester, as Mondo. Love the DGC, love Banner for being so brilliant and thinking of it. But we gave a bunch out and we just asked everybody their opinion and they tested it. And we shortened it a little bit. It was like almost like a 5-month release then. So we shortened it down to, you know, right around the 4-month it poops out at. And added more CalMag to it. And I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I'm real happy with the formula now. So yeah, about 3 years of working, man. The last year was just tweaking though. We did pretty dialed it in over the last year.
JR, you're on mute.
For a lot of our new growers and for people who are really into auto flower systems where they just have a big pot and they grow the plant out through its cycle, can you kind of explain how GrowDots would be beneficial and maybe some easy way that, you know, just a simple way that people can get set up and get successful? Because I saw some of the GrowDot weed at the cup and I was very impressed. There's a lot of, there were some really impressive autoflowers that impressed me. And I haven't been impressed by autoflowers in the last 10 years. So I saw some GrowDot autoflower work that was fantastic. So if you could maybe explain just a simple setup to people and how GrowDots can work for them.
Sure. Actually, I said, nice guy Kenny just came. I picked him up from the airport yesterday. Just about an hour ago, we clicked, I'm so excited. I clicked back to flowering last night, man. So pretty psyched about that. But so I actually had to wait to get him into the grow. But I showed him the simple grow that I got. That's kind of what I obsess over. Like Banner loves strains. He loves hanging out with breeders. I love looking at plastic buckets and thinking how easy I can make growing cannabis for people. You know, so I was just showing Kenny, we've got this, I think I'm going to ask Warehouse Kyle to make a few. I went and bought like a pallet of buckets one time when I was high from Uline. I'm like, we're making real buckets, man. And then when I went and asked Warehouse Kyle to make them for me, he was like, fuck making real buckets. I'm busy as shit with Recharge and GrowDots. So, but it might be time to make 20 or 30 sets of them. But I call them real buckets or a hempy bucket or just a 5-gallon bucket with, you know, some kind of an insert in it, you know, some kind of a grow bucket in it, whatever. Point is just a 5-gallon container. You take a good quality cocoa. That grower's cocoa is good. That Canna cocoa is good. I like cocoa core because you can overwater it or underwater it and it forgives you. Yeah, I would take the GrowDots. I think I put a table, and you're safe with a tablespoon of GrowDots for each gallon of soil you're putting in. So what would that be? 5, 10, 15, 20. No, it's 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. That makes sense of why I put that little packet that I sell is 75 grams, and that's meant to dump in a 5 gallon. But yeah, you just mix that up, put your plant in there. You just put a rooted clone, or a solo cup would be perfect. And by the way, I put 5 grams when I put my clone to my solo cup. I just put a teaspoon in, and I don't have to worry about fertilizing that shit, man. All of a sudden it's busting out with my solo cup with roots. Yeah, I take a solo cup, put it in a 5 gallon bucket. I have a self-watering system, the whole Real Bucket self-watering system with the float valve and stuff. But basically, you keep that moist, and I use a Recharge once a week. I think that's important.
When you mix it in, do you mix it thoroughly throughout all the soil, or can you have it at a layer, or how's it best?
I don't know if I'd put it at a layer in the soil, but in all honesty, you can top dress this stuff. If you're going to top water, then you can top dress it. Don't really matter. I like to incorporate it in right when I'm planting. It is easy enough to do.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that you could do the top dressing thing. That's kind of actually pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it could, like the guy was telling me with the palm trees. If you don't have consistent release, consistent fertilizer, same with us, man. You miss a meal for a day or two, it's gonna fuck you up, So
yeah, totally.
Consistency is the key. So by having something that's a steady release, these coatings allow for just a certain amount to be released every 24 hours, no matter how wet they get or how dry. I don't say how dry, they need a little bit of moisture, but they're not moisture sensitive. So it's pretty cool.
And so with the way that the dots are and the way they release, how is the root zone uptaking that differently than, say, like a bottled nutrient would be?
I don't know that it is. I really don't know that it is. They're both in that ionic form. So they're just in this plant available form. The one gets released from a pellet and then assimilates into the, whatever, combines with the water. And then the other is mixed in a, container and then just diluted. But I think they're really similar technologies. Both plant available.
Excellent.
Man, what do you think? So that's my one part. I was just talking to Kenny about like the easiest way to grow, and I'm sure somebody will say organics and whatnot. I will say, like, we were talking, used to do the GH3 part, which is pretty fucking easy. It's like a 1, 2, 3 kind of system. And then I was telling him about Canna Cocoa. It is fucking weird. That's a 2-part solution. It works great. You put the same amount each time. You know what I mean? It's the same ratio each time, and it shit grows. Dang, man. It just shows you there's more than one way to do it. There's a lot of different ways to do this, man.
That's something I'm learning over time, is that there are many ways to approach it. And some people find joy in different ways of getting the product that they're after. And I think that I think as long as you're getting really good quality smoke at the end of the day, the simpler the better, and especially for, like I said, a lot of new growers, it can be intimidating, the feed charts, pH, and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff it can get complicated. And if you screw up one time and you don't pH your mix and you put it in and your pH is off, it can really start fucking shit up. So to have that kind of ease of consistency, I think is really a strong point for GrowDots.
Man, do you guys pH that much, Kenny? I just brought nice guy Kenny into my room. I haven't pH'd, I don't know, ever. I mean, every now and again I'll check it, and it's, it was like 7.5 or something like that in the reservoir. But man, my plants fucking love it. I don't know if it's I think it's a recharge thing, honestly, a soil microbes thing. They're able to absorb nutrient over a much wider range of pH specifically than that root is. But I don't know. What about you guys, man? Are you still? I bet you are. That's why you fucking win the DGC Cups, man.
I'm aware of my pH, but the nice thing about a recharge is it's a up. So when I put in my nutrients, it's a down. but I use silica and I use recharge, and the silica and the recharge are ups. So it brings my level right up to 6.2. And I know that as long as I stick with my recipe, I don't have to worry about pHing every time. I know exactly what it's going to be. And so for me, using the recharge and the silica to offset the down of the of the newt, that's what keeps my pH in range. But yeah, I mean, I used to be really check my pH every time, but once I realized that it's like 6.3, 6.2 every time, that's kind of I don't have to do that anymore. So yeah, and so that now I think that would be a great way to segue into the other aspect of what Real Growers does, and that's recharge. Can you speak a little bit
about some love, man? You're giving me a little freaking Real Growers love today, man.
Yeah.
Well, I actually, but I'll jump in and just say we did have a question in chat from someone who asked, where can they get GrowDots? And if they do use GrowDots, do they just need to use water and that's it? They don't need to use anything else?
I don't want to sound like a shill here, but use recharge once a week. Yeah, it is meant as a water only, but use recharge once a week. It keeps the nutrient when they're in that ionic form. The reason why these products have been developed over the years is because of like red tide and just pollution. Damn it, man. I promised when I lit this joint up, we were just going to get loose, man. I wasn't going to have to make any sense anymore, man. I'm putting it down. But yeah, so these products are technology products that are meant to just release a specific amount more for in a 24-hour period, no matter how much it rains, because of pollution is really why they started making them, to just keep it from running off. All right, hang on. Tell me the question again.
And then what's your site? Where can I get these?
That's too easy. I can't believe it. It's Real Growers.
Realgrowers.com.
Yeah, they're on Amazon if you like to buy stuff that way. But yeah, the idea is you just mix these in. High C came to I am going on now, man. I'm gonna smoke anyway. High C came to work with me, and I think one of the reasons he came to work with me because he had a tent that he failed with. And then he was like, dude, I don't know how to do it, man. I bought all the stuff and I don't know how to do it. And I failed. And I was thinking to myself, that sucked, because here's a cool guy that should be growing weed. But instead, he bought $800 worth of stuff. And he's going to be like, growing weed sucks, man. It's too hard. And I was like, fuck, all right, I got you, man. He came in right in the middle of all the GrowDot stuff. 5-gallon bucket. I gave him one of those grow buckets that has actually the little dipstick that tells you when to water again, but literally I could explain it to somebody. Take a 5-gallon container, mix this package of GrowDots in there, and water pick it up, and when it's half as heavy as when it is when there was water coming out the holes, water it. And then just once a week, water it with this recharge stuff. Take a teaspoon of this, put it in your 1-gallon watering can, or I like to put 2 teaspoons in a 2-gallon watering can, water it with this, and that's it. If it's an auto flower, don't do anything. If it's a flowering plant, you teach them how to click the lights back and tell them not to walk in there and freaking show your friends at night. But you got somebody getting some weed, some good weed, honestly. And then from there, might want to say, hey, how about silica, or how about, I don't know what else. I don't know what else you add to it. But yeah, there's some other things that you can play around with if you want to start tweaking it. But just to get people to have success, man, it's fucking cool.
Yeah, it does really make things simple. I used GrowDots earlier this summer with some auto flowers that I grew outside. Nice. And I think I'm going to use it probably this winter with my indoor tents, just because I don't like fucking with all like measuring stuff. And I just want to like fill up a watering can in water. Like you were saying earlier, my water comes out of the tap at almost 8 pH. So I feel like I do have to pH sometimes on my indoor grows when I'm growing in like a 5-gallon pot or lower. But outside, I'm growing in like 30-gallon pots outside and stuff like that. I don't really ever seem to have any issues with pH. But I also do, like you were saying, I use Recharge pretty regularly, use EM1, another, microbe, just stuff like that to try to like keep the soil happy and help that buffer Um, but yeah,
Word,
so
man. I
so
love that
Jake.
word buffer, bro, because that's what it is, man. Think about a
Yeah,
buffer. Kenny, come over and buffer me from the I don't know.
Scotty always wanted a buffer. So
Lots of buffers.
so how'd you get started? So you started GrowDots a few years ago. You've been doing Recharge for how long? How long
Uh
has Recharge been around?
man, the first incarnation of Recharge was like, excuse me, I think 2009. And
Okay.
I started a company called Supreme Growers back in the day. And I had, what did I do? Myco Blast and Soil Blast and Sweet Myco Tea and Kelp Blast. Remember Kenny's smiling. And that was when I actually listened to somebody. They lent me the money to start the company, and they go, no, here's what we're going to do. Yeah. You know Steve, right? You guys know Super Intense Steve. I became partners with him in Supreme Growers, and he was like, all right, look, we're going to have all 4 of these products. We're going to sell them. It's going to be great. And I was like, all right, man. And we played around with it. It was too hard to explain. It worked out like shit. I ended up selling the company to a Russian oligarch for $14,000. It was a weird reality. Don't ask me about that, but it worked out like shit. And then I was kind of thinking about it after a while, and I was like, dude, that would have worked out awesome if we just would have fucking quit being assholes and combined all 4 of the products together and sold it for half the price, you know? And so I ended up just doing it myself, you know, found the form, you know, I kind of was pretty familiar with stuff by then. So I don't know, was it 2012? Was it 2000? I think it was 2012 that I started Real Growers, and I made this formula right off the bat. I knew this was the formula because I kind of had it from the Supreme Grower days, and it was fucking awesome. I made a product I'm super proud of. Recharge, man. I'll give you the I don't know, man. It's just super psyched because it made growing really easy. The whole deal with it, I never knew this about soil microbes. I actually have to thank my inferiority complex for this, because when I moved from Florida, I was like, fuck, man, all these great Colorado growers here, you know, I'm so intimidated. So I started reading like on Overgrow. I just started reading all I could. And I was like, what's this mycorrhizae stuff, man? Mycorrhizae, you know, you got to get that on the roots, man. Wow. And I just started learning about mycorrhizae, and then I started talking to formulators, and I learned that mycorrhizae is okay for a lot of other crops, but it's really not that big for cannabis. There's a hell of a lot more active compounds, man. And the bacillus were real workhorses, and there was a lot of really interesting bacillus out there. And so I was just able to design a product that actually worked right off the bat, man.
And how do you, you know, if you go onto forums or go into any sort of comment section, people will probably debate, you know, which bacillus you should have in there and if there's enough and all this kind of stuff. I've kind of wondered when I read those sorts of comments, I've always kind of wondered, like, I wonder, how does Scotty decide that this is my formula? And are there times where you're like, maybe I should add this bacteria? And how do you decide, like, not to do that or whatever?
You put a shitload of the strongest ones in together, and then some will like some will like slightly different pH ranges. Some will like heavy or light feeding, they'll respond to and grow to. But by taking these super active, like the strong, it's, man, everybody thinks symbiosis is everybody holding hands singing Kumbaya, but it's not, man. It's everybody fucking warring and fighting for resources, and they end up working together or taking those resources. But like when you talk about bacillus, you're talking about them, they are just warring to see who's going to be the strongest colony and it's going to get to those roots, you know. So by having 6 or 7 really strong colonies go to war for that nutrient, and who's going to go and deliver it over to the root zone, because that's where they like to be. It's pretty interesting, man. So you start with the really strong colonies, you put a shitload of them in there, you feed them, you give them some hormones, and you let them go nuts, solubilizing nutrients. Is that a weird answer?
No, that's great. That's great. And so, just from the fungal dominant side of it, can you speak to kind of when you want to really hit it and start that recharge in order to make sure that you are getting a fungal dominant out of your soil?
If we're talking about like mycorrhizae, right? If that mycorrhizae fungi are we talking about, you have to get that. As the idea with that is you have to get it established really early. So like the time to do that is in your clone dome. I soak my cubes in Recharge, and then I'm initially watering them in Recharge, because mycorrhizae does not like a lot of fertilizer. So as soon as you start putting fertilizer on there, it substantially sends signals to the mycorrhizae to stop mining for these micronutrients. So getting that on early, and that's how you get, and then once you get the mycorrhizae on, it's like a fungus on your fingernail. Now it's on that root. As that root grows, that fungus is already there. It's already established. It just grows on the root. So now you can start feeding it. So if that's what you're talking about, fungal dominance, you know, that's kind of how I do that. Then let inoculate really early and let the roots grow out. And just once they're inoculated, it just has to grow on the new tips and inoculate the new tips. And then the trichoderma, the bacillus and the trichoderma just work at opposite pH ranges. So that's why you don't really have to pH so much when you use a bunch of Recharge. It's because it gives you just a much wider range of pH. So it's pretty cool. Meaning one operates when the pH is higher, above 7. The others love it when it's below 7. So between the two of them, you can either, depending on your pH, you'll either cultivate more bacteria or more fungi. So that's I guess that's one way, sir.
And one of the bacteria, they're going to work right away.
Well, so is the trichoderma. The trichoderma is pretty fucking fast and active, man. It's the shit that's eating your bread, man.
And do those stick around for a while? I've seen debates online about actually this stuff, they might try to argue with you that it doesn't actually activate for several weeks or whatever the situation is or whatever. I was curious what your thoughts are on that, about, why you have to keep adding Recharge on some sort of recurring basis.
Man, sorry, my dogs are going off. But I think it's because when you're using a lot of fertilizer, it doesn't really lend itself to huge growth of microbial populations. I think you just keep on dumping it. It hasn't, these colonies, there's so much more, whatever colony forming units, I guess. So then need to be there, that they just take the food and they, I don't know, I guess they'll, deliver it to the root zone, but they kind of define their own size. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, and I also had a question for you. Earlier, you kind of broke out, there were all these different parts, and you kind of combined them into one to make the Recharge formula. Could you kind of double back on that and talk about what else is in Recharge? Because it's not just microbes. There's some other good stuff in there too. And it seems like all these things work well together to, like you say on your guarantee or whatever, like you are probably bound to see your plants respond well to this within, a day or two. You'll, water at night and come back another day or two later, and you'll probably notice a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, man. I just started kind of playing around with, hang on a second. I got cotton mouth now. I'd go to the grocery store and I'd look at all the stuff and I'd be like, all right, man, dude, that's pretty cool. Humic acid. I'd like to try a $35 bottle of that, man. And then I'd be like, whoa, fulvic acid. I'd like to try some of that. And then I'd be like, whoa, look, these are amino acids. That's cool, man. And then there was a bunch of stuff. Okay, I'll go down the list. Kelp. Kelp is fucking awesome, man. Kelp is the fastest growing plant in the world. And then you can take, it has, the reason it's the fastest growing plant in the world because it has all these organic or natural growth hormones in it. And other plants respond to those. So if you take that, you squeeze the juice out of the kelp and you give it to other plants, they're like, holy shit, I just got the hormone from the fastest growing plant in the world, man. This is feeling crazy, man, you know? So stuff like that, it turns out kelp's not really, you see a bottle of it for a bunch of money. It's really not that expensive of a product. You can get great high quality Norwegian kelp, and it shouldn't be that. You might have to buy a fucking 1,000-pound super sack of it. But the truth is, high quality kelp, a great ingredient that's used all over the country to grow, and it's really not that expensive. So I was able to put, the humic and fulvic. You're able to get really high quality powdered humic and fulvic. Kelp same thing. Excellent cold water Norwegian kelp you put in there. The humic and fulvic are organic chelators and natural chelators, and they just make it easier for the plant to absorb the nutrients that are in the soil or in the water that are available. It just makes the amount of energy that the plant needs to absorb that, it takes it down significantly. And amino acids are just building blocks. So adding additional amino acids is, again, just makes it easier for the plant, less resistance for the plant, less for it to do. I should say less resistance for the plant to grow big and strong. And then the micro package, just a bunch of bacillus, a bunch of a couple just really dominant strains of trichoderma, and like I said, those guys fight in the different pH ranges, and then a couple strains of mycorrhizae. Really, the only one. Please don't be, I shouldn't say fooled or whatever, but Glomus intraradices is the one that the mycorrhizae are very particular. They make a symbiosis. They attach to a specific plant. There's a lot of, when you see ectomycorrhizae, that's stuff for pine trees. That's going to go out, and those are forest mycorrhizae. So that's not going to do anything, zero, for your cannabis. And there's all these different mycorrhizae. The one that works for cannabis is intraradices, Glomus intraradices, or I do believe it has been renamed Rhizophagus. So I don't make the rules, but yeah. But intraradices is the is the one that actually really works with cannabis. So
Yeah,
that's the mycorrhizae. I make sure I put plenty of in there.
And now if you're sorry, Q, if you're an outdoor grower, like a sun grower, maybe you're in the ground, can you still use Recharge to kind of feed and boost the native microbes that are in the soil?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Absolutely. You're telling me you're just are you feeding it? I mean, the whole point with Recharge is I don't want to disturb the natural microbial balance of the whatever. If you're in a forest or something like that, that shit's got its own way. If you dump a bunch of Recharge on top of a naturally balanced living soil, it is going to set shit out of balance, man. It is. It's really not meant for that. There's so many microbes in there that if you're doing a living soil or something like that, and you're making your at that point, your microbes are mining. They're making these teeny tiny, it reminds me of Bitcoin. They're making these teeny tiny little transactions to make nutrition, and then to change that nutrition from that organic form into a plant available form. And that takes a whole bunch of energy, and that's what the microbes are doing. They're doing it at some natural, like a natural balance, Recharge is a little bit different. Recharge is taking a crazy amount of super strong microbes, and that are all hormoned up on kelp. They're all kelped up, and throwing them on a plant system, and either they're not going to multiply because there's no food for them, but if there's a bunch of food for them, and whether it's GrowDots or whatever, just some kind of nutrient in there, and it's ionic form, in its plant available form, they will use that as a food source, and they will also get that into the root zone. They go into that rhizosphere, they end up delivering it to the root zone.
To build on the outdoor example, I'm growing right now in 30-gallon pots outside. This is soil that I've amended with the Build a Soil craft blend nutrients. So that's got a bunch of their, great dry amendments in there. And what I do with those 30-gallon pots is I'll do the once a week treat. Is I got
Sure.
that from you guys, and so I just have a a 2 gallon watering can, and I'll add in Recharge in there once a week at least, and that's worked well for me. I also water in some other stuff too. I've also been messing with Build a Soil's Build a Bloom, which is their flower nutrient. But anyways,
Can I say
um,
something on that?
yeah.
Scott has interrupted us. I apologize, but you make such a good point, man. There's a huge difference. I'm not sure if you were talking about in ground. When
I
I was
was.
before, I'll talk about in ground. In ground, you got a huge network of nutrients and of roots and whatnot that are delivering nutrients from all over the place. When you're talking build the soil or a 30-gallon container of fortified soil, that's different, man. That's when you want them microbes doing the work. So I will say recharge it up, sir.
And how late into flower, and that's kind of setting you up there, but let's just talk a little bit through like how you use Recharge and veg and then through flower.
I use it the same way. I use it heavy because I own the company, man. I'll put like 2 tablespoons in a 2-gallon watering can. I'm sorry. No, that's ridiculous. Don't do that. 2 teaspoons in a 2-gallon watering can. I water once a week with it. I don't water till runoff. That 2-gallon watering can lasts me 9 to 12 plants because I'm just going, giving it a little touch and giving it a little touch. But I do that once a week till about 3 weeks before I'm going to harvest. Maybe 2 to 3, like 3 weeks before I'm going to harvest, I would say maybe 2. And then the plants are kind of not, actually, they're still doing pretty good. I'll say 2 weeks because I cheat a little bit. I always want my plants to look really good and healthy, so that's kind of like my cheating trick to make them look great. But at least 2 weeks before I would cut it out because Recharge just crushes it by delivering and making a bunch of nitrogen plant available. And so that's not the idea super late in flower. So
Right.
I cut it out the last few weeks of flower, I would say.
And we had JR, I'm going to jump in with another question that just came in through chat. One of our members is new to growing. So she's Gina. She's been posting a bunch of questions in chat. And so just to clarify, she asked, do you combine GrowDots, Coca Core, Recharge, and you do all this indoor? So yes, the answer to that question is yes. Everything that we've talked about so far, you can do indoor or outdoor. Doesn't really matter. Especially with GrowDots, you can add to practically anything, I imagine. It doesn't need to be Coca Core. It could be another type of soil as well.
But if you're looking for a really easy way to do it, go get yourself a 5-gallon nursery pot. Put some good quality Coca Core. Just if you're a new grower, know that Coca Core comes in all different qualities. There's these bricks you can buy on Amazon, and it really matters. The coconuts are grown on the coast. It's really salty there. So they have to wash them and wash the salt out, and then there's this buffering process so the pH doesn't go crazy. So there's a couple things they do to good quality Coca Core to make it actually work well. And so get good quality Coca Core, 5-gallon bucket, take one of them $8 packets of GrowDots, dump it in there. You ain't even got to measure it. Mix it up with your hand, put your clone in, your rooted clone, nice big strong rooted clone, and then just water it when it's water it once a week with Recharge, and then just pick it up. And then when it hits half the weight when it was saturated, that's all you need to do. If you're doing an auto flower, even easier. You ain't even got to click the light back,
Right.
I think Gina is a perfect example of the person we had in mind who's just getting started. She's cracked her seed probably like 2 months ago, and she's really got her tent. She went through the AC Infinity, got the tent, got the setup. She really wants to give it a go. And I think setting people up for success in the beginning is going to be a way for them to maybe, like you said, in the future, build upon that experience and do different things.
Set her up, man. Oh, I like to give shit away. I'll throw you guys. I'll tell you what. Hit me up later. I'll make you like 10 coupons for like 10 free GrowDots, and
Cool.
you can give them away to some folks if you like.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I was gonna shout out too, when we were talking about Recharge earlier, I really like that you combine all those things because I've hung out with growers in Northern California and seen some of them swear by things like fulvic acids and
Sure.
all these different other things, and I really love that you combine them all into one with a pretty affordable product and one that's like pretty easy to get a hold of. Like you said, you can find this stuff on Amazon. You can get it directly through Scotty's site, and they're really great at shipping because he's got great people that work for him, like Warehouse Kyle.
My wife, man.
Oh, his
Man,
wife.
my wife, Mrs. Real.
He marries his best workers, and they get that stuff out there. And I love that you're making this stuff simple because, like I said earlier, I don't if I don't have, I guess what I like to do is remove the opportunities to fail, right? Like remove the opportunity to like fuck up measuring, remove the opportunity to like, oh shit, I forgot to put in nutrient this week in my watering or whatever, the situation might be.
Dude, consistency is hard. I don't know if you guys know, man, try to exercise every morning, you know what I mean? Or do anything every single day. Man, we know, come on, we used to do deep water culture and you used to have to wake up every single day and go check those reservoirs, go check the cells, make sure everything was the right temperature. I mean, even doing that 90 days, come on, we're gonna go out and party one fucking night, man, all right? In 3 months, damn it. But yeah, but seriously, consistency is really hard. So that's what I'm trying to, I know that's my worst enemy personally. So I'm trying to figure it all out,
I wanted to ask you some kind of business related questions just because I've noticed a couple things.
Bitcoin, man.
Yeah, exactly. I want to hear your thoughts on the market. No, I wanted to ask you some questions there because one of the things I've noticed with the CannaBuzz community, we've been around now for a few years with many thanks to the DGC in terms of bringing Jay and R and I together and hanging out at the Emerald Cup with all you guys. But
how do you boys?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you being a part of the whole story and the journey. Anyways, one of the things I've noticed is that there are many of us that probably want to try to figure out how to work in the cannabis industry or maybe cannabis adjacent industries. And then there's also often many of us that I guess along with that, or maybe as a consequence of that, might be thinking about starting their own business or something to that effect, kind of in that, realm. So I was kind of curious if you could talk a little bit about a couple things. One of the things I was curious about is how did you get the word out about Recharge in the beginning? Because Dude Grows has been around for a while, but it wasn't around in the very beginning. It came into the story at some point, but how did you get the word out and really build your business in those early days?
I still had some contacts from my Supreme Grower days. So, but man, it really did not take off until Dude Grows and the DGC. Yeah, that really was when it took off. And so
I can kind of tell you a funny backstory to that. When I first met Scotty and I first started doing Recharge, I was getting active on Google Plus and on social media. And Scotty says, "Hey man, I'll give you a coupon code for you, and then the JR code, and then you can just give that to your people, and I'll give you 30%, and then you can maybe
I make a deal for you,
Yeah,
10 for you and 20 for everyone else, right?" And so I was like, "No, I'm giving them the whole discount." So I put out the JR 30 code on social media, and I felt like I was really reaching people with that, and it was at a price point that they were willing to give it a try. And it helped promote me as a person in social media a lot. And so I really am thankful to Scotty for that opportunity to kind of get my name out there and to get Recharge. And I think it's the like he said, the DGC have really been adamant about spreading the word and showing our success. So like when I go online and people say, you know, well, what do you use? How do you get those results? I tell them, you know, and so it's through that kind of stuff that I think that really helped build a Recharge as to what it is today.
It's through being legitimate, you know, it's through being a grower. I'm a grower. I'm one of you. And it's about trying to grow really good cannabis. Dude, for a while we were taking it. Remember the backpack days? Did you have backpack days there?
Yep.
Dude, I'm taking it to the dispensary and having a professional grade it and give me cash for it, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I was Googling my Mycorrhizae, because it mattered that I grew fucking great weed. Now it's for me. You know what I mean? This can be, you know, 8, you know, on a scale from 1 to 10, this could be an 8 right now, and I'm happy with it, you know? I'm saving your 10 week. I'm saving your 10 week.
Well, I got to tell you, in today's market, if you're not putting out a superior product, it's hard to get rid of. You really have to be on top of your game nowadays to get a decent price for your product. Otherwise, I mean, there's thousands of pounds of mids everywhere. You know what I mean? So you really kind of, if you want to get out there and get shit done, you gotta have a superior product.
True.
Yeah, I was gonna just, you know, shout you guys out because I'm a member of a lot of different cannabis communities, and people will ask, do you guys use Recharge? You know, that just came up on one of the subreddits I follow. It came up like 2 weeks ago, and there were just comment after comment of people saying like, yeah, I use it and it's great. And like, I swear, you know, just so many different people saying positive things. You'll see the same thing in YouTube comments and all kinds of stuff. People really do shout you guys out.
I hope it's because they like me, that they want, you know, but I hope more it's because they tried this stuff and it helped their garden. You know what I mean? Whether it's them little $3 sticks or what, you know, or whatever, the pounder, that they try to help their garden, man. That's fucking cool. Like I said, I want to see at that DGC Cup to have so many people come up to me and be like, dude, I grew the dank and it was coming because I listened to you guys and my grow got better. You know, hearing that shit, some people would say something nice about Recharge or GrowDots, but even if it was just finding the DGC and having their grow get better, that's the fucking motivator, man. You know?
So
yeah, I agree.
We're coming up towards the end of the hour, the end of the stream. So I'm going to give a shout out to our chat, the live chat on CannaBuzz, and just say, hey guys, if you have any questions or anything like that, throw them in. We'll try to throw in a couple quick ones for Scotty. But I also, before you go, Scotty, you know, speaking of how tough it is out there in the cannabis business right now, which it's, you know, I'm gathering just from everything you read and hear, it seems like it's a tough time in the cannabis industry, kind of up and down the stack in terms of whether you're a grower or whatever it may be.
What do you mean though, man? I mean, if you're a cannabis photographer, you're probably doing great, right?
Right.
If you're a cannabis marketer, you're probably doing great, right? If you're
well, that's actually kind of what I was going to get at too, which is like, I admire what you've done is you've gone into the picks and shovels business, right? You're not growing the weed. You're like, you know, you're like the Levi's and the, you know, pickaxe company coming in and really supplying supplies that people need kind of regardless of the situation. And you're not as subject to like local regulations that don't want cannabis here or whatever, you know, kind of BS that goes on.
And also, I'm not just servicing, you know, I mean, the dispensary model is a little bit weird, man. You know, in Florida, it's people that had $50 million for a license that build stores and put people to work. And it's a hell of a lot different than me and Kenny, right, running a 20 lighter, you know? So is that aspect of the industry, is that, you know, waning or whatever? Yeah, maybe that's struggling. But dude, you know, I think I guess the hydroponic stores, the reason they're struggling is because they used to rely really on the giant commercial growers. But I think there's way more and more home growers coming on. I think there's a lot of people like me, my buddy, not my buddy, but Because a guy I know, I'm really not tight friends with him, but I call him my buddy. Travis lives right up the road from me. Cool guy, just bacillus, works really good for hydroponics. He's a guy that's making money on the cannabis industry, but he's doing it on home growers. He's not, the dispensary model is for shit, and those giant commercial grows are for shit. But High C got hired to do cannabis marketing for me,
Right.
His job. Yep. So what do you, it's like, what do you mean the industry, I guess?
Totally. Yeah. It depends on who you're talking to and what they do. Yeah.
The CannaBuzz, man. The CannaBuzz, seriously, it services the home grower.
Right.
You guys are probably growing. I imagine you're growing great, man. I don't see your stats, but I'm sure you are, because there's more and more home growers that wanna learn.
So, with that, do you have any tips for people that might be thinking about, maybe trying to serve the cannabis industry or, adjacent industries or whatever? Any other, because you're such an entrepreneur. Do you have any kind of just tips that you share with people if they are kind of interested in starting a business, especially in this kind of space?
No, not offhand. Why didn't you ask this before? I could have thought about it, man.
Well, I mean, you hit it earlier in terms of, you form a great team around you to really,
work with talented people that you like. And then with cannabis, it's really fun because, like, I'll give you an example. Banner, he comes over, dude, he's an intellectual. He's got a mechanical engineering degree. Okay, but I think, like one of them guys who just found out he loved weed, maybe late in life. I don't know. But he comes over, he smokes oneies. He just sits there with his own oneie and smokes all day long. And he was doing I think he had was doing web work. You know what that's like, Hugh. He's just had different clients and doing web work, and they were kind of boring and whatever. And he picked me up as a client and he loved it, and he became, he specializes now in this kind of stuff. He can help, other cannabis people. If you're trying to market something, he's not for hire. Okay. He's for me now. No, but meaning he could be a cannabis specialty marketer. High C is a copywriter, and now he knows how, he can do that kind of stuff, specialty for cannabis. So if you work, what you like to do already or what your talent is, and you just aim it towards cannabis, and you become Jason, what was this, Colorado cannabis photography? What was it called, JR? You remember from the cup? And yeah, anyway, he was a photographer. He loves photography and he loves cannabis. So he started photographing weed, and now he gets hired from dispensaries,
Right.
So that's kind of would be my tip, is try to do what you're already talented in and just pivot that towards cannabis and pivot it towards that industry.
Yeah. Find your niche for sure.
Yeah. But you don't have to reinvent yourself to do it. You know what I mean? You
right.
can just find what you're already good at. You did, man. Q, you're good at computers, right?
Right.
I can do all this shit. And you started CannaBuzz, right? You took, took your knowledge, same kind of thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we've got a bunch of flame emojis and smoke emojis and all kinds of emojis flying in the live chat.
That's awesome.
So they've definitely been appreciating the stream so far, man.
Awesome. I feel bad because every single question you've asked me at the end of me talking, I'm like, I don't know what question we started with, and I don't feel like I answered it, but I had a really good time hanging out with you guys.
No, we've been keeping you on track. It's been great, man. It's been great.
You know what? I've had a bunch of stuff, business stuff lately. You asked me how I handle all that stuff. Lately, I've had some real kind of meetings about, I would say they're real serious, but they're meetings about how to improve things. And I don't want to get all super baked and be like, yeah, we should do this and we should do that. So I haven't been smoking during the day, and I've been really on my game. And I fucked up and rolled this joint. And I did a volcano bag, about a half a volcano bag before. And then I smoked this joint and I got super duper high, man. So old school first high of the day high. So thank you for keeping me on track, brother.
No, we've been having a great time. And JR, before we go, I wanted to throw it, because I've been throwing in so many questions here at the tail end of the stream. Did you have anything else that you wanted to cover, man, before we head out here soon?
No, I just want to thank Scotty a lot for coming on and sharing your knowledge with everybody and giving people a simple solution to finding good results. And I really admire your ambition, and I look up to you a lot as a business owner. And I've really appreciated our relationship over the years. And I just wanted to thank you personally for all you've done for me, Scotty.
That's amazing, JR. I appreciate you, brother. You're a great friend, and I have made some. You're between you and Jay Maestro, you guys are going to have to arm wrestle for who's DGC number 1 and 2 founding members. But the people that I've met through here, and Jay Maestro, man, just amazing relationships I've forged, and just never would have known you guys without the crew and without me and dude hanging out at the party one day going, "You're going to start a podcast? I'm going to start a podcast. We should do one together, man." It's amazing, man. Life is fucking weird. I was listening to this quote, and it was like Alan Watts, and I'm not really smart enough to get him, but he was just like, dude, life is so complicated. There's all these things in all different directions going all the time that, like, good luck really trying to predict what the fuck is going to happen, you know? So whatever chance things we did to make us be friends and all put us here, I fucking love it, man.
Yeah, huge thanks to Scotty for not just his time, but everything that he's done with the Do Grow show. That's how I started growing. When I started growing, I'm like a big podcast listener. I've been listening to podcasts for like 15 years or something. So immediately when I started growing, I was like, searching marijuana or whatever I was searching on the podcast directory, and I found you guys, and I was an audio listener for a really long time, and I would listen to the show when I was going to work or was at work. I was the furthest thing from growing weed. I was like, in an office building in downtown San Francisco or whatever. And I was really enjoying the Do Grow show because it made me feel more connected to this thing that I was really passionate about and I wanted to learn so much about. And I've seen that sort of comments from other people too. People comment like it's like hanging out with friends and stuff like that. And for me, it was also just a way to like immerse myself in this thing that I'm passionate about that you don't often get to talk about, you know what I mean? Unless you've built up that local network of friends where you can go and smoke and bullshit about weed. A lot of us don't have that kind of like local community. So the Do Grows crew and the show, and then the love that you guys share with your fans and your members at Cups or at the Emerald Cup or whatever, you guys are at, you are always like, just bring everyone in, to the fold. And that's huge, and I think it's kind of taking a step back and reflecting on that. It's no wonder that you guys have like such a great community around you guys, because it's this kind of, these vibes, man, these vibes that you put out create this space.
Can I laugh? I'll laugh with you because I was saying that, I can't remember, Jay Maestro was there, it might have been with JR. And I was just like, yeah, man, our community is this is a few years ago, but I'm like, it's so positive, man. I'm like, I never see a fucking anybody being an asshole on there. And Maestro immediately goes, that's because I kick them all out, man.
Exactly.
They just had no tolerance for it, man. If you weren't cool and wanted to come here and be, friendly and teach and learn, no, Maestro wasn't having it. So I have him to thank for helping me shape that community.
He's the general.
Right on, man. Right on. That's awesome.
Well, Scotty, we're going to give you another chance to plug things. So where can they get stuff about from your company that we've been talking about? And then I'd also love to have you plug the Do Grows and what you guys do over there.
Yeah, it's just realgrowers.com. I'm trying, me and High C and Banner hang out. We try to make that site informative. So if I get you over there, hopefully you'll understand what's going on. But if you hung out today, you understand what we're trying to do. You get it. So GrowDots and Recharge are over there. They're at realgrowers.com. And then the Dude Grow Show, we're super passionate about it. We're hanging out 2 days a week. We just bullshit, hang out, and what's growing on, what are you smoking, come on, let's have some laughs. We call that a wake and bake show. And then 2 days a week, we're answering grow questions. We're just trying to pick from dudegrows.com, tons of grow information there. Usually we're just picking some interesting grow questions and something usually that the DGC will do the heavy lifting and help us answer with some great comments. But between those two, we end up having a real good conversation. So that's Grow Talk. Dude Grows.
Awesome. Your camera may have ran out of battery there, or whatever may have happened. But we heard all that, and I really do appreciate it. I wanted to shout out the Patreon. The Dude Grows has a really great Patreon. So if you enjoy the Dude Grows show and really enjoy what they bring to your day or the knowledge they share with you, definitely become a Dude Grows patron. I highly recommend it.
Thank you, my friend. I'm terrible at plugging things, aren't I?
No, it's all good, man.
That's awesome. You guys are awesome. I appreciate what you're doing. That's what the dream of making the studio in the back of my house was. I'm like, I want to hang out with like JR and talk to him. And it finally happened after like 3 years, JR. We did it.
Awesome.
Having a lot of fun, guys.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Scotty. We've been having a blast as well. Everyone in chat has been enjoying it. Shout out to MacBuzz.
Thank you so much.
Grasshopper, Crazy Pop Mom, Gina, Kells, Cloudy Days, so many different people in chat. So thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate everyone. Please have a good time on CannaBuzz. Subscribe to Scotty's show. Check him out and his site. And we'll see you again in the next one. Thanks, everyone. I hope you have a great night.
Growers love.
Good night, everybody. Growers love.